Am I the wrong one for not allowing my friend to bring her service animal, guide dog, to my wedding? I, 28 years old female, will be getting married in September. I have a blind friend who mostly relies on her guide dog. The dog obviously has access rights to all places. Now I am in a sticky situation and I can sense that I will be DA. I have 3 chronic illnesses that I take 23 pill a day for, severe asthma and you guessed it, an extremely severe dog allergy. Usually when I meet with my friend we meet in the open and I take 2 allergy pills. However, because of all the other medication I take, these pills make me extremely drowsy to the point where I am officially not allowed to drive and I usually crash as soon as I get home from our get-togethers. Our wedding will be very intimate, i.e. we will be in relatively small rooms. I feel horrible about this, but I don't think I can let my friend bring her dog. It just wouldn't work. I talked about it with my fiancé and some friends. Finally, I talked to my friend about it, explained the situation and said I would love her to come, but she can't bring her dog. I said that 4 of our mutual friends had offered to be on a roster and assist her should she need it. Alternatively, if she is not comfortable with this, she could bring a person of her choosing to the wedding or I'd pay for a professional aide for the day. I think it is important to note that her dog is not for any additional issues like seizures or anything like that. Unfortunately, she was less than happy with my suggestions. She accused me of being ableist and thinking her disability can be switched off for the day. I understand what I asked was a lot and it is a difficult topic. I told her to tell me if she changes her mind and I'd be happy to make arrangements, but I won't budge. Edit fixed a typo. Nah, I was so ready to label you an I after reading the title, but I think you have extenuating circumstances for not wanting a service dog, or any dog, at your wedding. I can also understand why your friend would be upset. This probably isn't the first time someone has tried to stop her from bringing her service dog somewhere. Nah, I think this is just a misunderstanding. Your chronic illnesses and allergy are a disability too. I can understand why your friend would be opposed to going out without the guide she is used to, and I also get that you wouldn't want to be asleep/severely drowsy on your wedding day. I would talk to your friend more and see if any of the solutions you mentioned could work or see if either of you could come up with more options. I feel bad for both you and your friend. This is a difficult situation. Update: am I the wrong one for not allowing my friend to bring her service animal, guide dog, to my wedding? Some of you may remember my post. Well, since I have got married, we decided to get married sooner than we planned because the situation was good where we live and we didn't want to risk having to cancel if numbers spike. Before, I took your advice and called my friend. I explained how severe my allergies are once again and told her how I really want to be able to enjoy my wedding day. I apologized for making suggestions and not simply asking her and said she is welcome to bring up any ideas that would help her being able to attend. She told me she still wanted to, that do not include her dog. She was adamant that it was her dog or nothing. While disappointed, I was prepared for that and told her that would not be possible and that she will be missed at the wedding. We sent out the new invitations with the new date and simply didn't invite her, so technically she wasn't uninvited. Some of our mutual friends that are in the wedding told me that she'd asked them not to attend in solidarity, but luckily they all thought that was ridiculous. We had a beautiful wedding and spent our honeymoon in the Flinders Ranges, which I can only recommend. As for my friend, I'm open to reconciliation, but she will have to make the first step. So that's it. While it didn't go as I hoped it would, I'm still in a happy place now, enjoying my life as a married woman. She'd asked them not to attend in solidarity. If there was any doubt about your friend, this cleared things up. I'm happy you got to enjoy your wedding. Congratulations, smile. Congrats on the wedding. Just a comment on her accusing you of being ableist. You also have a disability that she is not being mindful of. She is a hypocrite. In both the AITA and Section 504, a person with a disability is someone who has a physical or mental impairment that seriously limits one or more major life activities, or who is regarded as having such impairments. Asthma and allergies are usually considered disabilities under the AITA. Edit: OP isn't from the USA, and the AITA doesn't apply. But that wasn't my point. The WHO definition would also apply here. I'm not arguing legalities. Am I the wrong one for not paying for the extra meal I accidentally ordered at a wedding? My 16-year-old son and I went to a wedding. When we got the invitation, we both chose to order chicken for the main course. There was an option to select a kid's meal version of each dish, but I never considered ordering one for my son because he is too old for kids' meals. I sent in the RSVP card with our meal selections and never heard anything about it. At the wedding, my son and I got our food, but the table was one chicken meal short. The waiter had a small plate of chicken fingers and fries, But everyone at the table told him it must be a mistake because we didn't have any kids sitting with us. The waiters were able to put together an extra chicken plate for the person who didn't get one, and it seemed all was well. I later got a call from the bride's parents, who told me that the chicken fingers had been for my son, and that I had caused the caterer to charge them for the extra adult chicken meal. I told them my son had asked for the adult meal, but they said he should have had the kids' meal because he's under 18. They said I should have known he was meant to have a kids' meal and that I should have asked for clarification if I wasn't sure, but I wasn't unsure. I never thought for a second that my son would have a kids' meal. 10 and under I would think would have kids' meals, and 11 to 13 is questionable, but 14 and up I would never think would have a kids' meal. The bride's parents told me it's normal for anyone under 18 to get a kids' meal, but I've never heard of 18 being the cutoff. I think it's rude to feed a 16-year-old a meal meant for a 6-year-old. Wibta if I refused to pay for the extra meal and told them it was their mistake for changing my son's order. I know wedding meals are expensive, but I think this was their mistake. Not the wrong one, but depending on how expensive it is, it might be worth paying to salvage the relationship. I think it's rude to feed a 16-year-old a meal meant for a 6-year-old. It absolutely is, and it was rude to not inform you that they had changed his choice as well. Not the wrong one. I can't believe they actually reached out to you about paying for the meal. How petty. A child's meal is obviously not going to be sufficient for a 16-year-old. Seriously. If you do think this is going to blow up and damage your friendship with the bride and groom, I'd suck it up and pay though. Am I the wrong one for bringing a baby to a class? Hi, please let me know because I'm honestly not sure. For context, my university is completely online. I'm male and 20 years old. Okay, last week, a family emergency happened, and it required my aunt and uncle to leave their house at late night. I live close to them, and they have a baby that's less than a year old. So, they called my parents to tell them about the emergency, and then called me. They asked if I could come into their house, take care of their baby, until they came back, and I was down with that. I've taken care of babies before, so, this wasn't new to me. Took my stuff, and drove to their house, stayed with my cousin. Now, by the time my morning class comes about, my aunt and uncle haven't shown up yet, which was within expected. They told me they'll be back by 1-2 p.m., and I had my baby cousin in my lap, setting up laptop for my morning class, and my cousin falls asleep, and I'm like, okay. I can deal with this. A sleeping baby is the best kind of baby. Do not move them. Now, here's the problem. I had a presentation to do, and so my video is off, as I'm preparing to give it, and the professor goes up, please turn on your camera. I have a sleeping baby right now, so. Is that okay with you? A sleeping baby? Yeah, there was a family emergency, so my cousin's asleep on me right now. I don't want to say the details in class, but I can email you after class, and supply any proof you need. It's fine, please turn on your camera. So I do, and my cousin is asleep, and I give the entire presentation, and I'm really proud of how it went, because I think I did really well, and I answer all questions, and my cousin doesn't wake up. Like, this is the best case scenario. Well, last night, I got my grade for the PowerPoint, along with an email from the professor that says she marked me down because she felt the baby was there as a pity prop, and I was attempting to gain sympathy, and if I hadn't had the baby, I would have gotten higher. So was I the a-hole for showing up with a baby? I didn't think about the pity aspect. Edit. Sorry for the sporadic replies. I am still a university student balancing my crap. Few clarifications. Yes, I did send her the proof she would have required to see there was an emergency. Yes, I will be reporting and updating. Yes, there are better ways I could have done this, but a stressed and sleep-deprived student isn't normally the best source of judgment. The class was a philosophy one. No, not the wrong one. You should take that note from the teacher to academic affairs. It's inappropriate and out of line, and your grade shouldn't be lower because of a professor's bias. I've been in grad school and had peers bring babies into the classroom and there's no penalty, because you gotta do what you gotta do. Not the wrong one. I would honestly report the professor. It's incredibly unprofessional and flat out wrong. Your presentation was perfectly fine and we are in uncharted times. They have to be flexible. You had an emergency. If they can't grade you without the baby being part of the equation, they obviously aren't a capable teacher. Who knows how else they grade based off pity rather than what you earn. Am I the wrong one for taking a 3-hour nap every afternoon and expecting my husband to look after the kid and only wake me up for emergencies? My husband, 38, and I, 34 years old female, have been married for 5 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter and a 3-month-old son. Our son has a health condition and needs to be fed every 40 to 80 minutes. I work in IT and can easily work from home and generally make my own schedule. My husband works from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I get up every hour at night to feed our son so my husband can sleep. I drop our daughter off at kindy in the morning and then work and look after our son. I obviously don't get much sleep during the night, so I have started to go to sleep from 3:30 to 7 p.m. and I made it clear that I am not to be woken up unless it's an emergency. My husband looks after the kids and cooks tea while I'm asleep, and at 7 we all eat. After that we take turns reading stories to our daughter as a bedtime ritual. She's usually down for the night at 8. Then my husband and I have us time from 8 to roughly 9:30, which is when he goes to sleep. After that it's only me looking after our son so my husband can sleep through the night. I usually do some more work and go to sleep at around midnight. But obviously very interrupted sleep since I have to get up every hour. My husband has started complaining recently. He doesn't think I should sleep in the afternoon because during that time childcare is on him completely. He wants some time to relax when he gets home. But the thighs is, I need a few hours of uninterrupted sleep too, otherwise I'll go crazy. Our son will most likely outgrow his condition and should be able to live a normal toddler life by the time he is 18 months. I can't possibly not sleep for another year and 3 months though. My husband isn't happy. AITA. Edit. I should clarify that I don't actually sleep at night due to the feeding pattern. My nap is the only sleep I get. My husband doesn't want a nanny and he doesn't want to be a sod. Not the wrong one. Offer him to swap the shifts. You get your night's sleep, and he can nap if he comes home from work. Let's see how he likes that. It definitely seems to him you're just napping and he's carrying the load. He's mistaken. First do this. Draw out a 24 hours timetable. Show the uninterrupted sleep comparisons, so he can visualize it. If that does not work, tell him you will wake him, tonight, every hour at nighttime so he can comprehend the sheer agony of interrupted sleep, which isn't true sleep. Then do it. And don't give him a 3 hours nap, because it'll be his punishment for doubting you. Because you're clearly pulling your weight. Update: am I the wrong one for taking a 3-hour nap every day and expecting my husband to look after the kids and only wake me up for emergencies? It's been a while since I last posted, but a lot has happened, so I figured I should update you. Making this post has been an eye-opener for me and I decided there and then that I was done. So thanks to everyone who told me what I desperately needed to hear. I started gathering evidence which would allow me to leave relatively safely. After I had enough evidence I prepared to leave. I gathered all documents and secretly packed up some stuff for the kids and myself. I informed my parents and my brother about the situation. My parents immediately turned my brother's old room into the new kids' room and my old room has never stopped being mine. I waited for my husband to be gone and then my brother picked us all up. I left a message for my husband explaining that I wasn't coming back and that I'd be filing for divorce. I also told him about all the evidence so he wouldn't do anything stupid. I've been at my parents' for nearly a week now. We have a carer who stays here 3 nights a week and I share the other 4 nights with both my parents. My dad is retired so he looks after the kids for a good portion of the day. I have talked to a lawyer and she said I will likely get full custody. My soon-to-be ex has left some nasty messages, but hasn't shown up, so I feel relatively safe. I don't think he will fight for custody since he was always disappointed that our daughter wasn't a son and our son isn't the strong little boy that he wanted either. As of now I will stay with my parents. The kids are happy, my parents are happy, and I had 7 hours of sleep last night. For all those who are looking for the red flag comments in the previous post, link 1 in description. How did it go from taking a 3-hour nap to gathering evidence and leaving your husband? The second post was deleted. I'm so lost. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day. See you later.